Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tunnel Light Podcast. I am so excited to introduce my guest today. Her name is Melissa, and she does a number of things. She's a very talented woman, and she's so wonderful. We've actually collaborated in the past, so I'm excited to have her here with us. What's up,
Yeah.
Melissa?
Hey, Tracy. Yeah, happy to be here. And then, like Tracy said, my name is Melissa Scafidi. I'm also known as the New Age Goddess. And the main two services that I currently provide is I am a Reiki Master Practitioner, and I'm also an Akashic Records reader. I do some more things like host workshops here and there, but those are my main bread and butter right now. And I am also Chicago based, much like
Whoop,
Tracy is.
whoop.
Yeah.
Represent. Um, Yeah, so for sure, it's like what I was excited for this episode in particular because this is something that I discovered like early on in my spiritual journey. But then in order to prepare for this episode, I was like, okay, like let me just like kind of revisit that area. And I thought I had like a general understanding back then, but there's so much more to this.
Hmm.
And I love the fact that it's like tailored to the individual.
Yes.
So yeah, so it's like and I'm interested, and I hope you don't mind. I'll be taking notes because I want to incorporate some of what we talk about today onto an upcoming episode. So I'll be taking notes like a student, and I'll be,
Yeah.
this is gonna, like, I know a lot of, like I said, it's like I feel like I've barely scratched the surface on this topic. So before we dive into the Akashic records, I'm always curious to know, like, what drew you to spirituality in the first place? Because as I shared on when I hopped on yours,
Yeah.
like mine was very abrupt. Like, I don't know if you've seen that meme where it's like a representation of God's finger, like pushing a person off a cliff,
Oh,
and
yes, I
then
did
the
see this.
hand is like, I got you.
Yeah.
So that was my experience, but like everyone, like the way that the spiritual community finds each other is so like interesting because it's like everyone has a very unique experience. And so I'm wondering, like, how did you even discover all this?
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. So I always say the reason that I even was led down this road was because, of course, I was struggling, right? Struggling. I did have really bad anxiety, amongst some other things. And I just needed something. I just needed something to just get me through the day. I was working these really bad jobs. I always blame the bad jobs because that was really the crux that really threw me into it. And the first thing that I discovered in the realm of spirituality was Abraham Hicks. She's a very famous channel, and she talks a lot about the law of attraction. And it was like, I just found her YouTube videos, and what she said made so much sense. And then, of course, I read all of her books. And then, of course, I had to go see her in person when she came
Oh,
to the
you
Chicago
did?
area. Yeah. And she really laid down the foundation for me. And to go down this path. And something famous that Abraham always says is once you kind of enter into this world, you can't go back. You
Hell
can't go.
yeah. It's 100% the matrix where it's like red pill or blue pill. And then
Yes.
once you make that decision, there's no turning back. You can't unsee it. You can't unknow it. It's there permanently.
Yeah, you are changed too. I mean, in a good way, but you are forever changed. Your perspective is forever changed. So then everything you look at changes, right? It's kind
Hmm.
of like ripping a piece of paper. We can like glue it and tape it, but the rip is still there. But that's okay in this scenario. So yeah, always law of attraction, Abraham Hicks. And a lot of people, that is as high as they're going to go, the law of attraction, and that's it. And then I kept going, as a true seeker. I kept digging, I kept finding different modalities, different things that resonated with me, or hey, why am I curious about this? There must be a reason I am drawn to this. And
Hmm.
let's explore, and let's try all of these different types of flavors and combinations together and see what gets created from there.
Yeah, for sure. It's like one thing led onto another. And it's so interesting because like there's like endless amount of information that we can gather. And so is that how it ultimately led you to what you do as, as to be of service, but more specifically to the Akashic records, like.
Yeah, definitely. So, like I say, law of attraction is always a really nice base. But really what we are talking about when we even talk about that is energy, right? Everything is energy. So I said, okay, energy, this really resonates with me. This is really making sense. Let's explore this portion of it first. And then when you get into energy, oh, there's energy healing. There's the different energy centers. What is that called? That's incorporating Reiki, that healing energy, right? And then I got into that. And I had my first Reiki session done on me, and it just happened to be a Reiki Akashic Records combo because I overachiever got to do them both at the same time, right? So, you know, the Reiki part went really well. The Akashic Records part, you know, the reader, she did both together at the same time. And what I do personally is I do Reiki for first and then Akashic Records. So the Akashic Records, you know, it kind of got lost a little bit in that session, in my opinion, but it sparked the curiosity enough for me because I got a taste of it. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, I found Reiki so beneficial to me. I want to learn how to do it. I want to learn how to do it on myself. I want to learn how to do it on others. I am just so immersed in this world of energy, of how the different chakras or the different energy centers correlate to our physical and emotional being and all the different layers with that, right? And then when I noticed what was happening was when I was working on my Reiki clients, I was getting intuitive messages because I was working with their energy. And I said, man, I am getting these messages. And, you know, we're all different types of clairs and they're all coming in these different ways. But what's a really neat, nice, organized way to get these messages outside of doing energy work? And then, of course, because I had that Akashic Records experience, I said, oh, yeah, Akashic Records, let me go back to that. Let me learn how to do this. And then it was like, oh my God, this is so easy because I've already been working with energy and I was already kind of doing it to a point. And then when I got trained on it, it was a really nice adjustment because it wasn't like it was brand new. I was kind of already tickling it to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you see that it already resonated with you. So it brought you to your calling. It's like, this is something that you should do and you're good at it, because I had a session and that's how I found you, is you know, through doing one of those. And I didn't do the Akashic Records, but I would love to one day. That's like that's one of my plans this year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, for sure. So please do elaborate on what Akashic Records even are.
Yes, the question of the day. Yeah, so a lot of people, you know, a lot more people are familiar with Reiki than Akashic Records, and that's so funny because they've both been around for thousands of years, you know, but I always love explaining it to people because I have seen it explained a multitude of different ways. And, you know, every practitioner kind of has their own way of doing it and going into them and how they receive messages, but I really like to start really basic and then I get into how they come through for me. So Akasha, the word itself, one of the translations is literally upper sky. It's a Sanskrit word. And why they're saying upper sky is because we're talking about an elevated astral plane. You know, there's different types of planes, and you really need to get into this astral plane because this is where the Akashic records lie. And a lot of people like to call them the Hall of Records, the Book of Records.
Oh yeah, I heard of those terms.
Yes, like maybe it looks like a hall to some people or a library to some people. And the reason why they're using these terminologies is that's a really nice way to keep it organized. Because essentially what these records are, let's say if I'm going into someone's records, this is everything that has happened to them in their past lives, lessons, lives, what have you, everything that could have happened, potential lives, everything that is currently going on with them, and things that are potentially could happen in the future too, because there are parallel realities, because we're living all of these different lives at the same time, right? So maybe I'm tapping into not the life right now, but a different one, but it's still you, but we still need this message. And really the message that you're going to get is the message that you need most at the point in time of the reading. So you can go in with an open mind. Hey, I just want whatever message wants to come through. Or we can go into a topic. Hey, I want this topic or theme of the message to be about my career, for example, whatever, you know, you're kind of curious about at that time. And for me personally, how the messages come through are, I usually get three things. I usually get a location, I get a character, and I get a tool. And that is unique to me because every reader is different. And it tells a story. It starts to tell a story. Yeah, I'll hear a song, I'll hear a word, I'll see a color, I'll see all these other images, but this story that we are telling ends up giving the person the answer, ends up giving the person the message. And it's coming through for me in that manner. And I actually asked a fellow reader why this kept happening to me, because not everyone is like this. And she said to me that in a past life, I heavily worked with totem animals. I heavily worked with power animals, spirit animals, whatever you want to call it. And the guides know that if Melissa needs to give this message, we're going to give her, let's say, a tiger. She knows what tiger means. She knows that, you know, what that's supposed to convey to this person, to the client. And it's easier for me to express the message in that way. Because like I said before, you know, the different clairs. There's different ways to get a message from the spirit team that's going to work best with that reader. So it's really these important messages. They are not coming from Melissa. I am just a clear conduit. They are coming from your spirit team. I remove my ego. I remove my opinions. I just give the message. I don't want to say, hey, I'm getting the color red. The color red means this to Melissa. It doesn't matter what I think. I'm just telling you the color red, and then it's your message is up for you to interpret in that way. And you can always ask clarifying questions too when you are in the records, but they can only be what, why, and how questions. So we can't use when, because time isn't linear and things are always changing.
Plus with the infinite timelines happening all at once.
Yeah. It's not going to work. It's not going to work if we ask time. So I always tell people that, but we can ask clarifying questions that lead us to more detail about the message that is coming through. Yes.
Okay. Now, is this like different than past lives? Like, is that a totally different subject, or does that entail Akashic Records?
Yeah, so past lives are synonymous with Akashic Records. It's not the whole thing. It really only is one part of it. You know, and it's only if a past life lesson, theme, topic is important for the right here, right now message, right? So like I said, previously I've been able to tap into a few of mine. Sometimes they come up for people, sometimes they don't, you know. But yeah, if there's a message like, hey, let's say we have a brand new mom and she's stressing out and she's like, am I going to be a good mom? I don't know what to do. I've never had a kid before. But then, hey, I tap into a past life, and there was a past life where she had 5 kids and she was living in a hut and didn't have electricity. Oh, now she's empowered. She already did it. And it was harder. So that would be an example of a time where a past life would come up. Sometimes it's important, sometimes it's not. And another thing about past lives, we've all been the bad guy. We have all been the good guy. Do we really want to dwell in a past life where, you know, we were the bad guy, where we killed somebody? You know, we probably already learned the message. I mean, we kind of have to go past that, because then we're just dwelling literally in the past, and it might not hold any weight in the present here and now moment.
Gotcha. So it's kind of like trust that you've learned that lesson, and if anything, focus on how you can continue to elevate your vibration, and just how you can better navigate this life here. This is the one that you are currently living in. So this is the one that we are trying to, you know, reach some progression, like just, yes, you know, let the focus be the progression.
Yeah. And be present moment minded as much as you can. I like to tell people that also means not future moment minded either, right? It's both, it's both sides.
Yeah, definitely. And now, so when you say that there's, are they parallel with like different dimensions? When you say that they're, what you were just explaining, I forgot how you worded it, but
the different like astral planes and the different realities. Yeah. Okay, so essentially my understanding of it is, how are we vibrating right now? So let's say, you know, I am dead set that I want to move to another state. Let's say I'm dead set about this. I'm going to see opportunities where I can move to this other state. I'm going to find jobs. I'm going to be looking at properties. I am so, that's one maybe possibility for me. And then I'm going to be so streamlined on this. And then I might pick that up. If this is the client I'm working with, it might be, hey, are you thinking about moving? Because I'm really getting this vibe, because you're really putting that out into the universe. But then in 5 minutes you can switch, and maybe that idea could scare you, and you're all about, oh man, I need to stay where I am now, and then I'm going to start seeing opportunities for where you are now, you see. So it's still you, it's still potential realities, what have you, but it's like you're still in that driver's seat of which path you want to be going down, right?
Okay. Gotcha. So yeah, once again, it's like it's all about like navigating from the here and now, and like all these like different possibilities come up for the people that you work with.
Mhm. Yeah, it does. And another thing too is I am seeing this being through the eyes and the lords of the Akashic Records. So I am seeing this being as their highest self. So maybe not even the way that they see themselves. There's many people where I've said, hey, do you do this hobby? Because you're like really good at it, is what I'm being told. Or you have a natural talent for this, or you're actually a really creative person. And they didn't even know this about themselves. And then I'm like, maybe just try it. Maybe just try painting or something, like, like maybe just experiment with it. And then they do, and they're like, oh my God, yeah. Or yeah, I've always wanted to try that. Or my friend's really good at that, and she's been telling me to go to a paint class with her, and
Wow.
and it's stuff that like I can see like how amazing they are, unique to them. And it's kind of like they didn't even explore that part of themselves yet, but it's still been there. So that's pretty
Wow.
cool.
That's so cool, because this is exactly why you're so helpful, is because this is just like, I see it as a way that the divine is using you as the
Mhm.
messenger, and that's
Yeah.
exactly what your goal is just to deliver the message and then let the person explore on their own and discover their own strengths, and also be mindful of their weaknesses.
Yeah, and I always say the main goal here for me, why I do this type of work, right? My mission is empowerment. Is empowerment, because you can always say, oh, there's light, there's love. Yes, we know that. I'm not dismissing it. That's important. But what is really going to light this person up? Where are they really shining? Some people know what they're good at, right? I mean, some people know, hey, I'm really good at this, and this is like how I can help others and what I do. And that is so awesome. But there are seekers who are like, man, I don't even know myself well enough. I don't even have enough of a sense of a self-worth to be like, oh, I could be really good at something just because I haven't discovered it yet. It doesn't mean that you're not good at something. You haven't discovered it yet. That's all it is. It's just part of the unfolding. So if I can even just breadcrumb that to someone, that makes a world of a difference, because now they have guidance, they have direction.
Hell yeah. It's like you're helping them find their purpose, because that's what sometimes is missing, is that when we feel like a sense of unfulfillment, it's because we're not exactly aligned with our passion, and not even like as our career, but just on the side period. Like we get so busy and caught up in our lives, in serving others, like our friends, I'm sorry, like our family. Well, yeah, friends too, but like friends, family, our career,
Mhm.
that we don't even make time and space for self-care and for just doing things that we enjoy. Like we don't necessarily have to make money off of it if we could just
Yeah.
do that. And that's exactly what's missing. So I could see how that, like, is kind of like, again, like suggestion, and people get a little bit more clarity.
Yes. Clarity is a main word. I get a lot from them, from a lot of
Mm-hmm.
clients. And also what I say to a lot of people, because these guides, they usually have like this, at least when they talk to me, they have like this really playful energy, and it's all about fun. And I start laughing a lot of times during sessions, because like they'll show me like a picture of like a funny cartoon, or they're like, Melissa, we know this is how you're gonna get the message. Because I'm a little silly myself, but yeah, a lot of them, because I'm working with adults, right? So they're forgetting to play. They're forgetting to have that childlike wonderment. Like if you're going to tackle a new hobby, even as an adult, you're still going to have this childlike wonderment, because it is still new to you. It's still new. So, and you still need to have play and have fun with it. I mean, Abraham Hicks says this all the time. The more fun that you're having, the higher that you're vibrating. And I understand that everything is fun. Like it's not fun maybe to do your taxes. I don't know. But if we can, kind of have like this childlike wonderment of like, oh, I didn't know I get to claim this, or oh, I didn't know I was getting all this money back, or oh, I'm learning how to do a new skill. You see what I'm saying? How we're approaching it. It makes all the difference. Even, and I say with other mundane tasks too, what a really neat idea is that I've gotten from the records is to maybe, I don't know, watch a comedy, watch a really quick YouTube video that's funny, and then go maybe apply for jobs. And then you have like this different energy when you're doing something that's maybe not so quote unquote fun.
Oh, I love that. You know how I use that, because she does touch on that a lot. But the way that I apply this is actually when I'm angry, like when when I feel triggered, I step back, and then I'm trying to look at it from like the higher self perspective. And then I see like, look at you, you're getting all worked up. Look at you, they got a hold of you. They own you right now. And
Yep.
so I just try to like giggle it off. And I used to have like bad road rage. I'm so glad that that's out of the way. But when I was like at the beginning, it's like I was trying to use the strategy to like lessen like just how triggered I would feel when someone would cut me off, or maybe they're going slower than me. But then it's like I would just laugh it off. I would just like chuckle and be like, this is just the old me. This is just like the old me acting out right now. Like, this is not who I want to be. I don't want to be this angry person with road rage. So I'm choosing to laugh it off, to just be a child and be like, I'm working through it. I'm moving through this thing that once used to really anger me, and now it's really not that big of a deal. I can now
Yeah.
I can see how that it's effective, because I don't have road rage anymore.
Yes. And it's like you took your power back.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was kind of like someone living rent free in your head, right?
Yes.
Say the rage. Yes, yes, yes. I remember, oh my God, this was literally like I think like a week ago. Like somebody cut me off, like whatever, when I was driving, and I applauded them. I went, yes, you go, you cut me off. Yay, good for you. And then again, it was funny. It was funny. I wasn't mad because it was like a comical thing then. And yeah, I could have reacted a totally different way to that. So I think driving's a really good example. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm curious, and this is, because as you know, I'm a health coach, so I'm dying to know if, since you're an energy expert, like, do you keep like a certain diet, and do you have like certain habits that you do to like keep your, like your body like clean and an alkaline state, so that way you're better able to receive messages?
Yeah. I mean, of course I give myself Reiki. And of course, I do work out, I do eat pretty healthy, all of that kind of stuff. And I'm a big proponent for anti-fluoride.
Mm.
That's me personally. Like I don't drink tap water anymore. I don't have fluoride in my toothpaste, things of that nature, because I was getting a lot of third eye headaches.
Mm.
And, that can be attributed to a lot of different things. But I just noticed when I cut out fluoride, I didn't get them anymore. So that's me, right? Everyone's different. But yeah, I'm very cognizant of course, eating, drinking, exercising. These are the obvious things, but also the things that turned me low vibe the most were, of course, thoughts. Were, of course, when I was a very obsessive overthinker. And not just that, but how I talk to myself. I used to be extremely critical and extremely hard on myself. I think a lot of people can relate to that. And I said, man, why are other people being critical to me? I feel like I don't give off that impression, but I was like, oh, because I'm doing it to myself.
Mm.
Because I'm doing it to myself. So I'm still telling the energy surrounding me that it's acceptable because I'm doing it. Yeah, maybe I would defend myself in front of somebody else, but am I defending myself in front of myself?
Yeah,
Because that's not as obvious. It's not as obvious because the hand is right in front of your face and you cannot see it. That's why it's not obvious. It's because it's so obvious, right? So I would have to say, in terms of, being a clear and clean vessel, even how I think and talk to myself. And another thing is I go in with the best of intentions. when I go in for a reading on a client, on myself, on whomever, I have very good, clear, clean intentions. So then the message can never be really that construed because I'm going in with the right message. And just another big thing too that I wanted to bring up before I forget is a lot of people are like, well, are you just imagining this? Are you just imagining these messages? And I can confidently say no, because it feels different. I've worked with energy so much. I've worked in the records so much. I know when a message is coming through that is just, I feel it. I feel really happy, or I feel this color, or I feel this emotion, and I'm seeing this image. It's not my imagination because I'm physically feeling it, and it just feels different, much like when I feel the Reiki coming from my hands. I can tell it's totally different than me just making something up. And how does it resonate so much with the clients? How are they like, man, you couldn't have known that any other way. You don't know me from a hole in the wall, or I always say that, or that is my spirit animal. So getting these confirmations are nice. You're not always going to get them, right? But I don't even need them because I know what it feels like.
Gotcha. You could just feel the connection. It's a strong connection that you feel between yourself as the deliverer, but the message, like, again, from the higher power, from.
Yes.
Gotcha. Here we are again. Sorry, guys. We had technical difficulties, but I wanted to go ahead and finish up the episode by asking Melissa. I'm sorry. You were saying that the way that you receive your messages are in a way where, well, first you keep your vessel clean, but how is it that that you receive these messages? Because you said that they don't necessarily, that they're not imaginative. They're like clear cut messages that you feel, and you just know that they come in a certain way. Just like Reiki, you can literally feel the energy coming through.
Totally. Yeah. So these messages, they can come through in terms of an image, of a color, of a song, hearing something, or a lot of times I'm feeling something too, And me personally, how messages come through for me as a reader, it's usually three things. Like I'll get a character, I'll get a symbol, and then I'll get a location, and it really tells a story. So essentially, I know it's not my imagination also, not just because of the feeling, but because essentially tell people things that are so specific, maybe a power animal that they work with, or a saying that they always say, or lyrics to a song that's very meaningful for them. So those are other key signs when I get confirmation from people. And again, not everyone's going to give you confirmation, then that's totally okay, because I trust myself. I know in myself that these are coming from spirit through me as a conduit. And then in terms of your second part of the question, keeping that clear vessel of me, of course, yeah, you got to be mindful of what you're eating, drinking, all of that, but also not thinking negative thoughts, being careful of what is really being taken up in our mind, not letting anyone live in our mind rent free. And really going, exactly, right. And then really going in with that clear intention. When I go into the records, my intention are to deliver messages that are most needed at that time for the highest and greatest good, to remove my ego, to remove, Melissa from the situation, but really make myself that conduit.
Okay, gotcha. So would you say that like your body got a little bit more sensitive when you started doing this kind of work? Because it's like you're working with more energy, so therefore you have to be protective of your own, because you've probably become sensitive to it.
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah. So essentially, you are more cognizant of different things, right? Just as a highly sensitive person overall, you're going to be more cognizant of other people's things that people don't say, right? People's body language, the different energies that individuals are giving off. And then now on top of it, not only am I picking that up organically, but now I'm in tune with their energy. Now I'm in tune with their spirit guides. So it can be quite overwhelming. So that's why you really do need to make sure that, you're as clear and clean as you can be. And then also that you're recharging. After I do a session, a lot of times I have to take a nap. I have to ground myself. I have to make sure I'm hydrated. And these are things you need to be doing constantly anyway, but even to a greater degree.
Yeah, for sure. I would imagine with, the type of service that you do. Wow, very interesting. Thank you so much for sharing. So please do tell my listeners where we can find you.
Yeah, definitely. So the easiest way to find me is my website. So thenewagegoddess.com. Then on Instagram, I'm the New Age Goddess _ after each word. On Facebook, it's New Age Goddess. And I also do have a podcast of my own that Tracy's been on an episode of already. And it's called Confessions of a New Age Goddess. It is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, or you can listen to it right off of my website. So those are the main places that you can find me. And then if you wanted to work on me to do Reiki or Akashic Records or both, of course, if you're Chicago based, we can meet in person. And then I also do remote sessions over Zoom. I've done states all over the country, and I just had my first international client the other day. So that's kind of exciting. So yeah, I can meet with you no matter where you are in the globe.
Awesome. Yes, because that's just how energy works. If I
Yeah.
understood correctly, that it's just felt. And that's why, it's really not that complicated, because just how we can make a phone call and we can reach someone instantly, it's like the same exact process.
Yes. It's like I always say, like sending Reiki, for example, is like sending a prayer for someone. Like you don't need to be in the same room as someone if you're going to do something like that. So it's really the same concept.
Gotcha. Well, I just want to thank you personally for everything that you do for us, for the planet, and for everything else. So
Of course, you too. I mean, we're both on the same team here, so we both have the same mission in mind.
Absolutely. And here we are, is just to spread the message. So, well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you on my podcast. I will link her information on the description box. Melissa, take care. I will talk to you soon enough. And thank you everyone for listening. Till the next one, much love and peace and avocado grease. Bye-bye.